Allison. How are you doing this week?
I'm okay. I'm glad I'm seeing you and talking with somebody, And I don't know, it's just becoming really clear to me that there's just a lot going on in my life. And I just feel like I have some unresolved things from the past, and I'm unable to move on from that. And I'm just mad all the time. Like, that's something I've noticed recently. I just feel so upset all the time. Like, little things bug me, big things bug me, and I'm angry, and I don't know where it's coming from, and it's really frustrating for me.
Well, I think it's good that you're here, and I know that it can seem overwhelming when you have all of those emotions going on inside of you, but that's one of the goals of us meeting together, is to help you figure out what those things are that are causing the anger for you. So tell me about some things this week that made you feel angry.
Well, I'm a waitress, and people bug me. People are really dumb. They're really stupid. They don't even know what they want to order, and like, how come you don't know what you want to eat? And I get mad at people when I'm a waitress, or if something's like a little bit wrong with their order, they'll get so upset at me, and then I get mad at them, and my boss gets mad at me, and then I think later, like, I'm not really mad at that one person. I don't really care about them. I feel like it's something within myself that makes me so mad, but I don't know what it is. But for example, like you asked for an example, probably like at work, people make me mad all the time.
So I hear you saying that you just feel angry all the time.
Yeah.
It's not like one specific event that's causing it.
Right. I'm always on edge. I'm always irritated. Like, traffic upsets me. The fact that I have to go grocery shopping, that bugs me, and I'm like mad about it. It's just like I'm not a happy, nice person. I'm mad.
When we met before, you said that you have some problems with your mom, and there's some disconnect there. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, she is a nightmare, Allison, if you had any idea. She is terrible. She's a terrible mom.
Okay.
She's a terrible mom.
Why do you feel that way?
Well, she didn't raise me. She was there in the house, but I had to raise myself, because she was always, it was impossible. And, my dad left us when I was really little. I didn't even know him, really. And I just remember terrible things about her. Like, she would just bring home guys. There was like all these different guys in my house all the time, and it was just
scary.
It was scary. It was super unstable and really unfair for her to be doing that. And I just took all this responsibility at a young age, and she was just never available emotionally. That was probably the main thing. Like, I would come to her with a problem with school, and she would, oh, you'll work it out, you'll figure it out, or I'm busy right now, or he's coming over, or whatever. And she was just never there for me as a mom. Like, I was more of a mom to myself than she was, and I was just a kid. And so, it's just hard to communicate with her, and I just feel like I was cheated out of a mom and a dad, because he left, and then I was left with that as a mom. That's not even a mom.
So do you know your father now? I mean, does he play any role in your life at this point?
No, I know his name, because she's told me his name, but I don't know him. I've never seen him. I don't remember having any kind of a relationship with him.
So you really needed someone to be there for you, and no one was.
I did, yeah, exactly right. I mean, I raised myself, like I said. And not only did I raise myself, but I had to raise myself in such a weird environment with all those people all the time coming over, and she was just a terrible example for me. And I never want to be a mom like she was.
I think everyone has the desire to have some stability in their life, especially when they're growing up and they need some guidance from the people that are close to them.
Yeah,
their parents.
Exactly. And I couldn't look to her. She was worthless. And, I don't know if I've told you this, but I have a boyfriend. We've been dating for like 2 years, and we became pregnant, and I just lost it. Actually, had a miscarriage. And so, when I first got pregnant, my mom was so excited, and like, this is going to be so great for you. And then, I told her that I miscarried, and she was just like unresponsive. She was very cold and distant, And I felt like that's when I needed someone the most in my whole life. Because, you know, I figured things out when I was younger as in regard to like raising myself. And now with this, I needed her more than ever. And she was absent again. And so that just like really hurt me. And I think that was like the catalyst in me coming to see you was, you know, this huge event happened and I needed somebody, mainly her, more than ever, and she was not there for me.
So what I hear you saying overall is that there are numerous situations in your life right now that are really causing you to feel angry in a lot of different ways.
Right, exactly right. I think that might be the main problem right now is like all these little things that are contributing to the fact that I'm so upset and unhappy. And I mean, even with my boyfriend, like when he found out I miscarried, we've been having problems and he might not want to stay in their relationship. And I just feel like it's really unfair that these people just keep walking out of my life. And even when they say that they're there, like my mom, she's not there at all.
Who has been there for you?
I have a cousin that's really close to me. She's a girl, and we're about the same age, and so she's been there. She kind of understands the family situation too. Like she knows my mom, obviously, and so I've been able to turn to her. But I mean, she's not my parent.
Right.
She's just a friend to me.
Well, and obviously you're going to have relationships where, you know, you're able to talk to someone, hopefully. It sounds like you have a good rapport with her. And she can't replace the relationship that you have with your mom. And that's not what you want anyways. But maybe it's someone that, you know, can be there so that when you're experiencing some anger or hurt, you at least have that person to lean on a little bit so you can be open with someone and just kind of vent and let it out a little bit. Because I think that helps with, you know, the anger and if you have an outlet for that.
Right, and she is that person. It's not like she's my punching bag and I just like
Right.
constantly, you know. I don't think you meant that anyway, but like it is nice, like you said, to just vent to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
She's understanding and patient with me, and she gets it. And I feel like that's really nice to have her.
That's good that you have that.
I didn't even recognize that until you asked me like who has been there for me because, you know, I was thinking by myself, I'm doing it by myself, but it's not true. Like I do have somebody, so that's good to know.
When I think it's easy to look at your life when you have people in your life that you feel like constantly are there. They want you and then they don't. They want you and then they don't. Or it's this constant, you know, tug of war, push and pull.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you feel abandoned over and over and over. And so, you know, if you're able to have at least one person in your life that is a stable force for you, then I think that that can be really helpful.
Right, and she's always constant. You know, she always wants to be around me. I can always talk to her. She is that one person where the tug of war isn't there. It's not present.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have many relationships like that.
Let's go back to your mom for a minute.
Okay.
I want to do an exercise with you because it sounds like there's a lot of anger that I feel like is stemming from the relationship that you have with your mom.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to do an exercise with you where it's going to sound a little silly probably, but you're going to picture that your mom is sitting in a chair. Obviously, she's not really here.
Okay.
But you're going to just imagine that she's sitting there and she can't say anything. She's just sitting there listening to you. And you can say exactly how you feel, what you think, you know, just address her. Anything that comes to mind, I want you to just let it out. Okay? Are you open to doing that?
Yeah, let's do it. I've never done it before, so I don't know if I'm going to do it right, but I'll try it.
There's no right and wrong. I don't want you to be focused on that. I just want you to focus on how you feel, you know, when you think about your mom and look back at the relationship and some of the things that come to mind with that, okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to turn this chair around and just picture that your mom is sitting here. I can even sit here and just play your mom if that's what you need, but...
No, I can just
No?
imagine
Okay.
it. Yeah. You're a lot nicer than my mom. Anyway. So I just talk to that chair.
Yeah,
It's
you
my
just
mom.
imagine that she's sitting there, and whatever you want to say to her, just be honest and tell her exactly how you feel.
Okay. Well, I don't even call you mom because you haven't been a mom. I always call you by your first name. And so I'm going to call you Michelle because I don't feel like you deserve the title of mom. And I just feel really, really angry all the time, and I think that you're the cause of it. Because when Dad left, that was your fault, because you're a bad wife to him, and you were a bad mom to me, and you're still a bad mom, and you haven't changed at all. And
Pause right there for just a minute. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I'm going to interrupt you.
that's okay.
Not trying to throw you off. When you tell her that she's a bad mom, I want you to think about how that makes you feel, and think about specific situations where where you viewed her as being a bad mom, and I want you to tell her what those things were.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I don't like calling you a bad mom, because I wish I had a mom that I could be proud of, and that was proud of me, and that was always there for me. But you're not that person for me, because when I was little, you never took care of me, and I had to have my aunts take me to the doctors and to the dentist and to buy new school clothes, because you were too busy out with your friends and with all those guys that you would always bring home. And I was never important to you. I was never a priority for you. And so that's why you're a bad mom. And
Tell her how it makes you feel when she did those things, or didn't do those things.
I was just a little baby. I was just a little kid, and I needed help, and I couldn't do things for myself, and you didn't do them for me. And it made me feel so terrible, and it made me feel like I was a bad person because you wouldn't take care of me. And I was thinking that maybe I was doing something wrong, that I had some guilt in here, and that I was a bad kid. And I wasn't. I was just a normal, happy kid trying to be loved by their mom, and you wouldn't have any part in that. That was just really terrible for me, and it hurts me now to even tell you that you're a bad mom. I don't like feeling that. I feel sad inside to know that I don't have a relationship with you, and when I try to be open with you, and you are a little bit open with me, and we have a talk about it, about how you're going to change and how I can be kinder to you, and you never hold that your end of the bargain. You're always reverting back to your bad behavior, and you're never there for me, and we have a talk again, and I feel like we make some kind of progress, and then again you let me down, and again you distance yourself from me, and you're cold and withdrawn and distant, and I just don't want to keep doing it. I feel like we've done this over and over, where I feel like we talk and we have an agreement, and then bam, next thing I know, you're ignoring my phone calls and telling me that, I need to do better, I need to try harder. But it's not my fault. It's not my fault I lost that baby. It's not my fault that you were not going to be a grandmom. I'm sorry that you won't be right now, but it's not my problem that I wasn't able to carry the baby. I'm trying to be a good mom, and I'm trying to have a healthy pregnancy, and I'm trying to be the mom that you weren't, and I'll never be a mom like you. And I want you to know that I will never, ever treat my kids how you treated me. And I will be there for my kids, and I won't rely on my sisters to raise them. And I won't put my friends before my kids like you did for me, and you still do. And I needed you more than ever when I lost the baby, and you had wanted nothing to do with it.
Tell her what you need from her now.
Right now, I want you to call me and to see how my day is going. I want you to be involved in my life. I want you to apologize mainly for being so awful and for being so absent, especially knowing that I didn't have a dad in the picture. And I need you to understand how painful that was for me to just at such a young age realize that I was the person who would take care of me, and I didn't have a parent to look to. You need to understand what that did for me. And you need to not make excuses. And you need to not tell me that you were hurt when Dad left. I don't care that you were hurt when Dad left. That's not my problem. You should have been focused on me as your kid and not look to yourself. You've always been so selfish, worrying about your feelings. That's why you were always with your friends, trying to find a new boyfriend to pay for things for you. Because you're always worried about you, and you never cared about me. And you need to understand that I know what happened, and that I wasn't just some little kid who was clueless. Like, I understood what you were doing.
Good. It was really good.
Thank you.
How do you feel now?
I feel really relieved. That's weird because nobody's sitting here. This is a weird thing. But I feel really relieved, and like I feel like I don't need to tell her those things now. You know, maybe that would be a good thing to then do it in person. But I don't think I'm ready, because I feel like if I were to do that, she would agree and apologize, and then, 2 days later, it would start all over. So I don't think I'm ready to do it in person if I ever needed to. But that was good for me. It was very difficult to be so honest with her, because, I'm honest with her, but never that honest. So I feel that it was helpful.
Good. I think it's important to be able to vent, when you're feeling so angry and, it seems like you kind of bottle up your emotions a little bit, and then it comes out at work and maybe in some of the other relationships that you have in your life. So I think it's important to be able to just kind of let it out every now and then. And, maybe you can do that exercise at home if you're feeling that way, or maybe you're able to journal and write down some of the things that you're feeling. And it sounds like, some of the other relationships, like the relationship with your boyfriend, it has some of the same similarities, just from what I heard you explain earlier, of, where there's kind of this push and pull where he hasn't really been there for you. So this coming week, what I want you to do is sit down and kind of write down the similarities that you've seen between the relationship you have with your mom and some of the other relationships that you have in your life.
Okay.
And then when you come back next week, we'll talk about what those things are.
I don't think they're very different,
And they may not be,
Yeah.
But those are the things that we need to identify and start to work on, because I feel like, some of the situations that you have right now are kind of perpetuating the anger that you feel.
Yeah.
And, you mentioned that you might have an anger problem, but I don't really think that that's the case. I think that you're very hurt, and that can be a way that you're putting up a wall to maybe push people away from you, even though you want someone there, but, you've been hurt so many times, and it's just a defense at this point. So
That sounds about right. Especially because it wasn't just like a friend who had hurt me and continues to hurt me, or even a boyfriend. It's the person that birthed me. It's the one person I needed forever, for the rest of my life, to be there. And she is the one who lets me down. So I feel that the fact that it's her makes it even more, of an intense hurt for me.
Well, these are some really deep-seated issues that you've had for a long time, so we're not going to be able to solve all your problems in this one session. But, I think that you've made so much progress today, just being able to let out some of the emotions that you've been feeling. So just focus on, just give yourself a break this week, and don't focus on all this stuff, and, focus on how relieved you feel
Okay.
to get you through the week. But work on that exercise I told you earlier.